This thing finally convinced me to get a wireless system. This is the new Rode Wireless Go 2. Now, unless you're willing to pay the extra money for a solid high-end professional system, the chances are greater of you getting dropouts or interference if you're using a consumer 2.4 GHz wireless system. And if I'm getting hired to do an interview, I'm worrying about this because I've lost interview audio, and that's something that I never want to experience again. I was supposed to shoot about 10 different interviews for a local event, and somewhere around interview number 5, I started to get dropouts. But the camera I had didn't have any headphone jack, so I just kept on recording because the meters and everything looked normal. So since then, I'm constantly worrying about this. So what did the Rode Wireless Go 2 offer that made me give in? Well, first of all, it's Rode, and I trust Rode. I've been using their microphones in my studio for years. And the fact that I can mic and record 2 people talking at the same time will allow me to say yes to more video work. But the key feature really is the internal recording. The internal recording completely removes my worry about getting dropouts or interference and other types of issues that kept me from getting a wireless system. Because with the Wireless Go 2, you will have a backup recording on each transmitter. Each transmitter can record up to 7 hours of uncompressed audio or up to 43 hours of compressed MP3 audio onto their internal memory. Now, some reviewers have complained about the fact that you need to use the Rode Central software in order for you to bring the files onto your computer. But there's actually an explanation for this, because there's already a patent on another transmitter from another company that has this built-in recording function. So what Rode had to do was to get a bit creative in order to give us this feature on the new Wireless Go 2. But if you consider the price difference between this other patented transmitter and the Rode system, I think you'll be okay with this tiny little extra step in order for you to save an entire recording. Another impressive feature with this new system is the really low latency. Now, latency is the time it takes for a device to convert an analog signal to digital. Long latency can create some sync issues, especially if you're using wired microphones together with a wireless system, or if you're using 2 separate wireless systems with different latencies on a shoot. Now, this can be quite easily fixed in post with after syncing. Now, if you're planning on using a wireless system for live streaming, fixing things in post won't be an option, obviously. But yeah, let's take a look and compare the latency of some other wireless systems within this same kind of price range. And to help us kind of get an idea of what these numbers really mean, think of it like this. 1 frame in a 25 frame per second video is somewhere around 40 milliseconds long. Now, some of us are more sensitive to latency than others, but if we're starting to push somewhere around 30 milliseconds of latency, then the latency should be quite apparent and disturbing to most people. So let's start with the Rode Wireless Go 2, and that comes in at a latency of 3.5 to 4 milliseconds. Then we have the Ceremonic UW Mic 9 at 12 milliseconds, the Ceremonic Blink 500 Pro at 12 milliseconds, the Comica Boom XD2 at less than 20 seconds, the Synco G1 12.5 milliseconds, and the Boya BY WM4 Pro at 20 milliseconds, and the Holyland Lark 150 at less than 5 milliseconds. So most of these are doing a pretty decent job, but the Holyland and the Rode Wireless Go Pro 2 is probably the only 2 that won't need much or any further tweaking in post if you're looking for really tight audio. However, if you're using the Comica or the Boya and you're recording something like a musical performance, then you might want to go in there in post and do a little adjusting. Now, if you want all the numbers, I'm gonna link Curtis Judds' video on the Rode Wireless Go 2 because he goes through everything and explains it very well. Now, before we summarize and talk about some additional cool features, I want to remind you to subscribe and hit the thumbs up if you like this video. That way YouTube will do all the boring remembering for you. So anyway, apart from being able to use your Rode Wireless Go 2, as a USB audio interface with your computer for Skype calls and all that. I think Rode is doing a fantastic job on this system, bringing out and improving features with firmware updates. So an example of this being that the record limit for MP3 compressed audio at the launch of this product was 24 hours. Now with a firmware upgrade, you can record up to 43 hours compressed MP3 audio. Another feature that was added with the firmware update was the ability to use the transmitters as standalone recorders without the receiver or anything. So you could bring them out and use them as field recorders, or you can use them as an external microphone for your smartphone or your action cameras. And if you're a podcaster, then why not bring both of the transmitters and you can do interviews or full episodes out in the field. Things like these really convinced me that the Rode Wireless Go 2 is a wireless system that I can trust and get much use out of, not just for video making. With that said, I want to thank you for watching, and I also want to give a special big thank you to everyone that's been hitting the subscribe button. We're now 137 strong. So thank you for that, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!